if what was happening in Dallas wasn't hilarious, I would probably be sick of talking about it, but it's actually quite delightful. Feed me all of the Mavericks' misfortune. Feed me all of the drama going on with Mark Cuban. I just love it. I love the chaos. I love how completely inept everyone is there. From Mark Cuban to Nico Harrison to Jason Kidd, all the way down to probably the ball boy. The ball boy probably doesn't even know how to inflate the basketballs for the team. That's how bad it is there. It's like watching a slightly overweight European train go off the rails as a more slightly overweight owner tries to fix it, but he can't, and he just has to watch in horror. And if you thought that the last month was entertaining, oh boy, this offseason just got even more spicy, more of a soap opera, because it's probably going to get worse. So where do we start? Well, we talked last episode about how Dallas punted on the season, technically. And then Luka came out and said, no, that's actually not true. We're not doing that. And then more bad things happened. They deemed a future draft pick more important than trying to make the playoffs, which was Luka's stated goal. They said, we need to not give the pick to the Knicks, so we're going to do whatever we can to keep it ourselves. So they tanked in a way that was even more egregious, even more embarrassing, even more obvious than the Blazers, which is kind of crazy, because they said the quiet part out loud. They told everyone. Jason Kidd came out in front of everyone and said, hey, my bosses are telling me that no one can play tonight because we need to plan for the future. And losing games right now is how we do that. And the league says, oh, no, baby, you can't say that. You can't do that. Luka came out and played for a quarter and some change, got his player prop, ching, and got a weirdly non-standing ovation. And then that was the last that we saw from him. That was the last that we saw from Kyrie, who did not play, did not give an exit interview. And it is just so bad. Why was Luka so mad that he didn't get to play the full game, despite the fact that he wanted to participate in a game that was still meaningful because they could play in the playoffs? It has everything to do with Slovenia, because the Mavs scheduled Slovenia Day on the second last day of the season, meaning people traveled from Slovenia to watch Luka, and Luka played a quarter. In front of his own people, he had to sit in warm-ups while people who flew 10,000 miles or whatever it is watched insert player you've never heard of and Reggie Bullock. Are we serious? Do you know how embarrassing that is for your people? Do you know how much of a slap in the face that bullshit is? And they were like, we do not care about Slovenia. The only Slovenian that we care about is you. And Luka was pissed. So what did they do? They, like I said, they sat Kyrie, Christian Woods, Hardaway, Bullock, and everybody was clearly healthy. They sat Christian Wood and Jaden Hardy for rest. Guys who were in their early 20s. And then now what is going on? Like clockwork, the league investigates the Mavs for tampering. Everybody is thinking about what the outcome is going to be. There's every scenario down from finding the Mavs $5 million to taking a draft pick from them, which would be hilarious because that was the whole reason that they did it to begin with, is to preserve their draft pick. Everyone now says that Luka is unhappy. There are new reports that Dallas fears that he will ask out. Luka says, I am happy here. I am not asking out anytime soon, but we need to fix these problems. He sounds a little like Damian Lillard, folks, with less patience and really less rope with the organization. By the way, meanwhile, Kyrie and Luka were 5-11 when they played together this year, and Dallas has just one option. They must sign Kyrie Irving. There's no other maneuvers that you have. The roster is in disarray, and I don't know if you can see the train wreck coming, but I certainly can, and I don't know that there's much to do to stop it. And by the way, quick little aside, I did a show on New York Sports Radio this weekend on WFAN. And I spent nearly 2 hours talking with fans, Knicks fans, about whether they wanted Luka on the Knicks. And 80% of people said no, which is just where we're at on Luka right now. Insane.